Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. Answering the Call. It is a fantastic campaign by the Perley Health Foundation here to give us all the details and talk about the care for seniors and how important it is here in our community. I'm joined by Micheal Burch. He is the co-chair of Answering the Call campaign, with the Perley Health Foundation. Micheal, thank you so much for joining us. And Mike, let's start off talking a little bit about how you got involved with this. There's a lot of causes, a lot of wonderful organizations in our community. Why did this one stand out for you, Mike?
Sure, that's a great question, Derek. And I do want to say welcome back. I'm sure I'm a little late to the party, but welcome back. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
it's good to have you where you belong. I got started with the Pearly. A mentor of mine and a good friend, Malcolm Welch, who is now 101 years old and shares a birthday with my youngest daughter, is at the Pearly, and he loves it. He thinks he's well looked after. His treatment there is first rate. And I went to visit him, and the more I talked to him, and I realized there was an opportunity to help out. And it's you can't always sit in the back seat. Every now and again, you got to get in the driver's seat. So here I am trying to move this along. And all this was happening at around the same time that my mother wasn't doing very well. She was 93, and it was clear that just a number of things had caught up with her, and that's this whole notion of frailty. Excuse me.
Right.
So between the two of them, I got involved.
And Mike, you mentioned that approach, that frailty in general. So when we look at Canada's approach to caring for seniors living with frailty, I think the pandemic has really shone a light on it. I know the Pearly does a wonderful job, but I'm sure that you've seen some of those stories in the media, Mike, and
Oh yeah.
as somebody talking about your mother and this wonderful man, it must just break your heart to hear some of those
Yeah,
stories.
it's absolutely heartbreaking, and it's the problem is that the government can provide sort of a baseline level of funding, but they can't go beyond that. And that's why in this case we're looking for these funds from in a philanthropic way, because we'll need that to go the next step. And clearly, I mean, we can't stop the aging process. Unfortunately, that's with us, whether we like it or
Yeah.
not. But I do think we can control, to a certain extent, this frailty part of it. And the frailty part of it is when just a whole bunch of systems start getting out of whack. And once those systems start getting out of whack, one little can make the world of difference. So it's important to study what's causing frailty, and more importantly, what can we do to decelerate its advancement and to put best practices in place to live with it and advance with it.
So this is a 10 million. The goal is $10 million for this particular campaign, and Ottawa always steps up, and I guarantee it's probably going to go over 10 million here in this community. But Mike, is there anything specific that this money is going to go to?
Right. So, I mean, our view of this center of excellence encompasses much more than what we'll be able to fund with $10 million, but we need the $10 million to seed it. And once it's seeded and we have the the information hub that we can transfer data that we find, our research data, what we know. The Pearly already has a reputation of reaching out to other centers, other healthcare providers, and giving advice and training and all the rest. This will just allow us to formalize it a little bit more and to dig a whole lot deeper.
And Mike, some community members have already come together to support the campaign. Tell me a little bit about this community sort of campaign cabinet that you have.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a great group of people. I'm fortunate to share the co-chair with John Jarvis, who's a wonderful community-minded spirit. There's We have representation from the business community, from the hospital community, from the military community. So we're well looked after. We have a great group that's, to be honest with you, and you can understand this. Trying to do this in a virtual way is a bit, it's tough. It's tough to get
Yeah.
someone in a screen like this to convince them that what we're doing is the right thing and that their involvement is imperative. But we did have a brief window there where we could take some people through, and they were all impressed with the Pearly, all impressed with what we're doing. And so I think once we get maybe through this, my fingers are crossed, we'll be able to open it up and have some individuals come through and just recognize just what a great place it is. It's 600 people in there right now getting great care, 450 in long-term beds, and it's the whole gamut. There's apartments for seniors that live together, and it's a great cause, and
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think the city will certainly come together behind this one.
Yeah, agreed, Mike. And it is a very special place. I've done previous interviews about it, and everybody raves about the Pearly. Mike, thanks so much
Yeah.
for joining us. Want to tell our viewers at home, pearlyhealthfoundation.ca to make your donation. I'll be back with more daytime right after this. Don't go anywhere.